16 years, 8 gruesome double murders, 16 innocent victims. A series of horrific crimes that scarred Italy's soul forever. A murder spree that remains unsolved to this day. A city paralyzed by fear, a nation on the hunt for a phantom, and a killer who was never, Welcome back to Dark Secrets of True Crime. Today we dive deep into one of Europe's most mysterious and chilling cases. A story of murder, fear, and unanswered questions. The bloody legend of the Monster of Florence. Let's begin. Tuscany, a paradise for travelers and wine lovers, with postcard-worthy landscapes and peaceful, idyllic villages. But behind this picturesque facade lies a dark secret that has remained unsolved for over 4 decades. On August 21, 1968, this tranquil world was shattered by a brutal double murder. Passers-by discovered a car abandoned on a secluded country road near the town of Signa. The doors were wide open, and inside the vehicle were the lifeless bodies of Antonio Lobianco and Barbara Locci. Both had been shot multiple times at close range. Investigators quickly learned that Antonio and Barbara were having an affair, a sordid detail that immediately put the police on the trail of Barbara's husband, Stefano Mele. Mele was known for being a violent, jealous man. Under intense pressure, he confessed to the double murder. But his confession was riddled with contradictions. Sometimes he claimed he acted alone, other times he spoke of accomplices. Despite these inconsistencies, Mele was sentenced to life in prison. The investigation could have ended there, but 7 years later, another murder occurred, committed with the same weapon. It was now clear to the police. Mele was innocent. The real killer, the Monster of Florence, was still out there. Between 1974 and 1985, the rolling hills of Tuscany became the hunting ground of a relentless killer. 8 couples were brutally murdered, always at night, always in secluded areas far from prying eyes. The victims sought privacy in Tuscany's woods, but instead they found death. The killer came silently, unnoticed, and struck with terrifying precision. His weapon of choice, a Beretta .22 caliber pistol. The victims never stood a chance. The men were usually shot dead instantly, but the women fell victim to something far worse, a horrific ritual. Their bodies were mutilated in a way that suggested the killer had anatomical or even medical knowledge. The mutilations were disturbingly precise, raising suspicions that the killer was driven by a twisted, ritualistic obsession. Psychologists studying the case described the killer as someone consumed by the need for absolute control over his victims, driven by a deep, pathological hatred toward women. He killed with cold efficiency, leaving police baffled. How could someone strike with such skill, escape every time, and leave behind no evidence? To the investigators, this was either the work of a highly intelligent psychopath or a group executing a dark, sinister plan. The gruesome murder spree shocked all of Italy. Newspapers spoke of a devil in human form. The police were under immense pressure to find the killer. The Minister of the Interior ordered a massive manhunt, involving hundreds of officers across Florence. But the investigation led nowhere. Hundreds of suspects were arrested and interrogated. Authorities searched villages, questioned outsiders, criminals, and ex-soldiers. But nothing brought them closer to solving the mystery. By the 1990s, the spotlight turned to Pietro Pacciani, a farmer with a disturbing criminal past. Pacciani had prior convictions for assault and sexual violence. He was aggressive, violent, and unpredictable. His sadistic behavior in the past made him the ideal suspect in the police's eyes. His trial began in 1994 and was turned into a media spectacle by the Italian press. Pacciani was portrayed as a monster, a primitive, savage man driven solely by hatred toward women. But the evidence was weak. Not a single piece of direct evidence linked him to the murders. Neither the murder weapon nor any incriminating items were ever found. Witnesses who initially testified against him later recanted their statements. Was Pacciani truly the Monster of Florence, or just a scapegoat? Pacciani died in 1998, and with him, the investigators' last hope of solving the case seemed to vanish. As the investigation dragged on, the theories surrounding the Monster of Florence grew more bizarre. Some investigators believed the killer was not working alone, but was part of a satanic cult carrying out ritualistic murders. The mutilations of the female victims were interpreted as macabre, sacrificial rituals. Was the killer driven by a deep-seated hatred of women, or was he following a twisted plan far beyond personal motives? One of the most shocking theories suggested that powerful figures, politicians, businessmen, even respected doctors, were involved in the killings. It was rumored that the victims were mutilated as part of secret ceremonies known only to an elite circle. Some journalists claim to have evidence supporting this theory, but the Italian judiciary denied these allegations. To this day, no concrete evidence of such a cult has ever been found, but the chilling idea has remained in the public's imagination. Was the Monster of Florence really a lone killer, or was the entire investigation a massive cover-up to protect the real culprits? The Monster of Florence's murder spree abruptly ended in 1985. As mysteriously as it had begun, no final letter, no confessions, no trace of the killer. But for the victims' families, the nightmare never ended. They were left with open wounds, unanswered questions, and broken hearts. Italian police, however, never closed the case. New theories and suspects continued to emerge, but none ever led to a definitive resolution. The murder weapon, the Beretta .22 caliber pistol, was never found. Authorities searched lakes, wells, and remote caves. Nothing. To this day, many believe the real killer was never caught. Perhaps he died, or fled Italy, or still lives, hidden behind a facade of normalcy, unknown and forgotten. What remains is an unsolvable mystery that still haunts Italian criminal history: the terrifying legend of the Monster of Florence. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. What do you think about the investigation and the countless theories surrounding the Monster of Florence? A case lost forever, or a dark secret that was never meant to be revealed? Do you believe the true killer is dead or still alive? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time.